Hi, welcome to the Meisterplan webinar, specifically to show off features for the portfolio coordinator, product management, and PMO leadership. My name is Debbie Somerville. I'm the Director of Customer Success, and it's my pleasure to host you today. The agenda is going to be pretty simple. We're going to review some portfolio planning needs and some typical challenges that are encountered, as well as the key features that support portfolio planning. Did you ever hear the saying, I don't have enough time to get things done? Well, the saying resonates with us because we definitely don't have the time to get the wrong things done. Meisterplan is a portfolio planning tool which ensures the right projects are prioritized and determines when the projects can be done based on the capacity you have. This process is a critical step in ensuring the right projects are started before the not so good but not yet projects get started later. Now, to ensure clear responsibilities at a portfolio level, it's equally needed to make sure everybody knows their role, just like you would in project roles and responsibilities. And the responsibility of leadership, whether it's portfolio or product leadership, is maximizing the value of your portfolio on behalf of your company. In February, we hosted a webinar where Laura Bernard shared her secrets on how portfolio and product leadership can start driving measurable business outcomes. We have it recorded. I would encourage you to watch, call your CSM to send you the link. And no matter the methodology, the steps boils down to a strategy definition, strategy execution, and strategy realization. And to simplify the next layer, there are processes that need to support the entire life cycle of your work. The quick summary is portfolio and product leadership should be a driver of business value, not so much a perfectionist of process. The second, get to the right problems in the right way. Don't let busy get in the way of productive. Drive to root cause, and this alone will have a positive ripple effect. And lastly, shift your mindset from order taker to impact driver. But first, what gets in the way? A Harvard Business Review study asked companies, what are top barriers for delivering value today? Would it surprise you to see project management is much further down the list? Within the top three, too many initiatives at one time, insufficiently managed resources. Interesting enough, Laura Bernard also shared her perspective in one of her podcasts that resource management and project prioritization are two sides of the same problem. The goal is to do the projects when you have the people to actually do the work. If you have a resource constraint, the root problem is not resource constraints. It is really portfolio decision making and nobody saying no. As we go through the demo today on Meisterplan and seeing the new features, I will share that there's value here in increasing your span of time with portfolio planning at the resource level. Ideally, you're seeing capacity needs 6 to 12 months in advance of the work being asked to get done. Why is this important? You have longer lead times to hire if needed. You have the ability to set budgets, and you have time to negotiate the projects that will deliver the most value to your strategy. This is not the bottom-up planning. That comes later. This is not all the work breakdown structures or all the stories refined yet. It is the ability to estimate at the high level without taking the times to do all the detailed plans so that the budget discussions can happen earlier. And where Meisterplan differentiates itself from other portfolio management software is that we can connect to project and work management tools once you start creating those work plans. And today I will highlight our task connector that allows you to consider how to connect these work tools or the right timing to do so. All right, I will now switch over to Meisterplan and get started with our demo today to show off these features. So let's start with that first challenge of, are we doing the right things? We use our Kanban board view to show a progression of projects and where they're at. You can see from here the intake all the way through the approval, and is it going to be rejected? This is a great board view to use during meetings to prioritize. What I would suggest is to configure the board with, say, the priority score if you're using that, or maybe you have a field for benefits or strategy fit. I would also say we could sum up the priority score into one of the columns. And so now when you're speaking of these, you see how important this project is in relation to this project. You can make sure you're working on the most important projects first, talking about them. And while you're speaking to others within the meeting, our project comments give a very good way to document an action item, as well as mention somebody that needs to take action on that so they get an email after the meeting. It's easy to move things to the next stage while you're talking about the meeting, or open it up for more details. When I'm looking at the details, perhaps I want to add the high-level estimates at this point. I can do that within our allocations tab. You look for the person or the role that is needed here. And after you add the person, role, or team, and I'll go through that later, the first chance you get is to indicate how much total time you will need of this person. And if I put in the total column 1, it's going to spread that work out over the duration of the project. And the reds are a clear sign that this project is unlikely to be able to be done during the time frame that was suggested, and does take further action to plan your portfolio before you commit to any time frame. Going back to the board view, there's a few other things we would be able to highlight here. We can now put swim lanes. So perhaps you have business goals set up. We'll go through that a little bit. And if you have business goals, why are we doing this work? And are we doing it in the right sequence, or focused on getting that one ready before some others? These the columns can be summed up by many different type of numerical fields. And so in this case, I could see what the estimate might be for this work, and is that something that we can handle during a time period. When you've made these changes, perhaps you want to even filter some things out. I can filter out some of the stages that we don't need to see here in this view. I can then save a new custom view and give different user groups access rights. That's going to be a common way of any of our views being able to save a new view and give different user groups or different people access to that view. All right. I'm also able to search for a project, and I'd like to show you that project score, because that's a very important feature to implement when you want some facts to back up the reasons for doing one project before another. Even if you don't want to use it as a way to auto sequence that based on the score, it really can help guide a conversation that, based on these factors, any single select field can be used as a project priority score factor. We have templates that can get you started to think about this. So give your customer success manager a call. And what's really good is after a strategy session, you can re-rank the priority of these factors. So notice the priority score here is composed of 3 fields that when I select a payback period, a risk level, or a strategy fit, it provides a score behind the scenes. After a strategy session, you can change that score to say if in this new year you're going to weight things a little different, it will auto score every project in your backlog. I want you to bring you to the goals feature. This has been a feature we've had out there, and it's a really great way to organize work to a business goal. But I'd like to give a sneak peek at a feature coming up to replace that view, and that is our new goals feature coming out over the next couple months is expected. And what you'll get from that is all the data transferred over to this new goals page, but you can open each of the goals and provide more information against that goal. What is the goal about? You can add a start and end date. Say these are goals for 2025 or maybe for the first quarter. You can add a goal owner. This is the person who cares that the work is being done in the right sequence to achieve the best results. They're the ones monitoring and maybe helping organize the roadmap or removing barriers. You can indicate a status for the goal. You'll also be able to add sub goals here and be able to do something very similar. What's the goal owner for this if it's different than the top owner? You'll also be able to connect the projects that will help support that goal on being successful. So that's coming. I wanted to give you a quick show so that you can see what to think about before that gets released out, so you're ready to start using it as soon as you can for your 2025 goals. All right, I'd like to quickly show you the dashboard. This feature has been improving quarter after quarter. There's some more changes coming later this year as well. But as a reminder, quick tour on how to navigate. The black header bar will first filter out the projects based on the portfolio you're showing. So if I had selected a department portfolio, it's only going to look at the projects in that department portfolio. Okay. Cards can be added with many different types of charts, a KPI, which is just a number, as well as a milestone list. You can further filter any one of these cards to indicate what you would like to see. So perhaps on the stage gate, I only want to see some of the early ideas that have been through approved and not beyond. You would be able to filter that. The other thing to know is you could click on any one of the cards and the values within that chart, and the details drop down can now be configured here through this list. So perhaps when I'm looking at effort related by project type, I would care to show the planned effort, which are allocations. Perhaps I would like to also show the business reason for doing this and the start and finish date. You can rearrange. Perhaps I don't want to see key there. I can rearrange this information. And when you hit apply, now when you drill down to the information for that card alone, you'll be able to see different information there compared to if I were to look at this card and I want to see something else. Okay. If you wanted to learn any more details, hovering over these projects gives you a little square with an arrow, and that will allow you to open up the project details directly from the drill down here. And of course, you can save new views for individuals or by user group. We have a new deep dive available on the 3 important steps on creating a powerful dashboard. We'll also share with you some best practices for relevant KPIs to tell your story. Give your customer success team a call for one of these deep dives. While looking at projects on your dashboard, many of the things that you can utilize as part of these charts is your single select fields or your OBS fields. One other field you will be able to leverage is our out-of-the-box project type. And the reason I bring this up is there's been some improvements for this project type. So normally custom project fields are shown here for single select and for OBSs. What I'd like to bring your attention to are the project types. So there is a typical way every customer I've seen classifies projects. And now as you're classifying these projects, this could be something from strategic to operational projects, or run the business and just simply project, or maybe it's a capitalized project that you want to call out. You know, in the agile context, you might call this epic or solution epic or feature. Whatever you want to call your details that are shown within the software here, you now have the ability to manage the details tab when you open it up and show different things by project type. So as a portfolio coordinator, I know it's really important for you to get the information to your stakeholders in a simple to read way. To do that, adding tabs here could be one answer. Maybe there's some checklist items you want to cover, and you have those in a custom field, and you can indicate what are those checklist items you want to put here. You can rearrange tabs, okay? You can delete tabs if you don't want one of these tabs and is not used. What's important to know is that what you show on one project type, maybe a strategic project, maybe it has more charter related information in your overview, might not be needed for some of the other operational or run the business projects. So this really gives you that opportunity to change the details on what that looks like. If you want to delete certain sections and just apply those changes, the details now look different, as well as the overview can look different. I can indicate what should be shown in the overview, and that's again the panel that pulls out. And I could show a more simplified version here if it's a different project type. The other thing to know, very similar to a single select field, is you can use this for the priority score contribution, and you can also color code these projects. Okay. Good. Now, all of this kind of lends itself up to keeping people informed of why you're doing this work or when is that work going to be done. The roadmap is a really great tool for being able to keep people informed. I'm going to show you right now the strategic roadmap. So whether it's this is your executives looking at it, middle management, even team members would get value out of seeing what are we doing? Why are we doing it? So today I have this grouped by business goal. Of course, you can group this in various different ways. I also have this grouped by year currently, but I can drill that down to quarter, month, or even week, depending on your needs here of what you need to see. I want to highlight 2 new things recent to the roadmap, and then I'll do a quick navigation of some of our existing features we've had. The 2 new things are within the filter. It's under connected tools. I'll show you how to connect your tool, Project Online, Jira, Microsoft Planner for Premium, Smartsheet. These are things we can connect, and if we show you the uh, projects that are linked, you can filter to the ones that have linked projects to them. What I could also do here is color code to the deviation of that connected tool, which tells me a different story. It's telling me the projects here connected to that Asana tool has more or has work that can be done within the plan we have, laid out. Yet this one connected to a Microsoft tool has tasks that are going beyond the plan, and not just for the whole project, but for Zoe in particular. And so it really helps lend itself to say, I've made a plan. Let the team work the plan, right? We empower the teams to get work done, but let me at least monitor if something's happening at a portfolio level so I can have a conversation. Because if this is going to go over and we miss some milestones, that's a portfolio risk that portfolio and product managers like to know about. The other connected tool feature here is just being able to filter towards things that are outside the threshold. So again, depending on what's the story you want, there's different ways of being able to get access to your connected work. And is it going to go beyond the plan you had laid out in your portfolio? I'm going to discard those changes for a second and show you some of the other um, features we've had, but just as a reminder on how to utilize them. Milestones is the first area. One, it's a great way of keeping your stakeholders informed of some key dates. Some reminders here, we do have some milestone filters that you're allowed to just add to say, I just want to see the projects that are at risk based on the dependencies. That's a nice one to monitor project dependencies. The other thing is perhaps only show milestones within a certain date range. Some others that are maybe 6 months out, 9 months out are goals to achieve, but maybe more uncertain. Perhaps you just want to show your stakeholders the more certain milestones within a date range. The other one you can filter to is perhaps one of these roadmaps, you only care to show milestones that are in certain phases like execution. Again, it's just a way to simplify what you're seeing. If the stakeholder community that you're providing that view to doesn't like a lot of details. If you hadn't seen this before, there are some ways to add some KPIs. It's any numeric field. It might be budget, could be score. We can also show percentage completion. So when I'm showing that budget, it does roll up to each of the groupings that you have here and gives you a nice sense of what we're doing and how much now it would cost, and is that something we should get done sooner or later. Percent complete, you'll see a colored chart here of darker to lighter color in the Gantt. Percent complete, when you're not using actual time, represents time on that project in the past versus total time for the future. All right. One other thing to note here is you can sort the roadmap by timing or rank. The difference is for timing, it represents how soon can you get things done if I were to look at this by quarter. And it could layer two projects on the same row because we're just talking about timing. This is starting quarter 4, this is ending quarter 2. If the mindset of your stakeholders care more about the rank, then being able to see this by top-down priority sequence is going to be more important to save that in the settings. All right. Going on to Portfolio Designer here. The next challenge we typically have is getting projects done well and seeing if you have the people or budget to do the work. Portfolio Designer is the powerhouse for this view. Let's start creating a scenario, which is a copy of your plan so that any changes we're making in that is not affecting your current plan. It's just a playground, if you will, to see what if these things happen, or could we start more work and what would it mean to start that? Something new, we are able to start a scenario directly from the drop-down list. When you start a scenario, make it clear um, from a title perspective and a date on why you're doing that. So maybe it's a proposal for Q2. You can indicate who can work with you in that scenario and edit it. If you just want it for yourself, keep your user rights to yourself. And the trick here is to put add and open at that level. So when I go back to Portfolio Designer, it automatically opens that scenario for me. I would always start a scenario comparison to your plan of record so you can see the changes that you've made. Now, this is where you're going to resolve the biggest obstacles to whether it's the execution of the next 60 days in front of you and you're seeing problems and what do we need to address in terms of those problems. But it's also the long-term planning horizon. What more work could I get done? And is this the right sequence to get it done? Or do I need to move this work to a later time, which then moves the demand to a later time? Okay. One of the other features I see used, and definitely the companies that care to look for their longer term bottlenecks, is to show the resource score. This is very strategic. What the lens of this view now is, taking out any project to filter on, is what are your roles that have the most constraint long term? This is where you can really guide your conversation to resource managers and leadership on how to address the long-term constraints. This is super powerful and gives you a different lens to look at your portfolio by. One of the other new features here, let me pull up this project. Notice team front end. We have a new feature that allows agile Scrum teams to be managed within the software, and it gives you the chance to say, for those persistent teams that are always together and working on a product, say, you only want to manage capacity at a team level. You're not needing to staff to a person. If you want more information on how to start implementing this feature, please give us a call as we're able to get you started up, maybe quicker than if you just explored it yourself. All right, I want to show you the task connector here because it gives some powerful information even within the portfolio designer. So if I were to look at, say, recovery test is connected to a Jira project. Now, this is our out-of-the-box connector. So we can help you set this up to your Jira environment and be able to quickly see in the panel all the stories and tasks that were refined in that project or that epic. What this provides to you is the ability to see, can this plan for these roles manage that work? And the answer is yes, it can manage it. Now, as a second layer, they're over capacity. within the other work that they're doing. And so being able to perhaps move that to a later time frame is one of the what ifs that you would look at in the scenario. But let's say, for example, you didn't plan any junior developers here. Notice what the panel now provides you. It's saying there's tasks in Jira that are assigned to the junior developer role, and this could also be by the team role, sorry. And that would allow you to see you don't have enough in your plan to get this work done, and that you would have to add more time to the plan, which then, of course, look at the constraints at a lower level. This is the complexity of agile planning as well as waterfall planning, being able to connect the dots on, is the work increasing scope, and do I even have the time to do that work? There's a lot to unpack in this task connector. I just wanted to show it off to you to, to one, see the power, um, and two, when you think it's the right time, please give your customer success team a call to deep dive this feature for you. Now, other things that you have been able to do within a scenario and portfolio designer, but are typical as thinking, what if something happens? The one thing, if you noticed, is, hey, can we do more project work? And what's then the right timing of that work? The second is thinking of the what if this project extended with the same workload as this um, of what's been assigned. You know, that also gives you a lens of what might happen here if we extend that project to your overall capacity. Perhaps you need to move projects down the list so that you can say that's a lower priority. The junior developers can't get that work done, so let's make sure they are focused on the work that they can have the capacity for. Something else that has been able to be done, but is really a nice lens for when you're looking at why we're doing the work and is it being done in the right sequence, is you can group your projects by a OBS or a single select field and the business goals. So if now we look at the projects that are on the roadmap that are linked to this business goal, you know, perhaps you now see something different, that you need to get something done sooner in order to achieve your overall goal. Some of the resource changes that you're able to think through here is we have a new replace mode. So if I'm staffing or replacing um, this role, I would be able to see what you see in Team Planner, and it gives you the ability to find out who's available. But I can also do some searching to say who's available that has, say, project management skill sets. Now you can hone in on finding people to do the work instead of hiring out and increasing your costs. The other thing we see in scenario planning is a what if. What if I hired more people here as senior developers to get this work done? What more could I get done? And how you do that within a portfolio designer is you edit capacity, indicate you need 2 people um, during this period of time. And if I could get 2 people onboarded, in your mind, you know it's 2 months to get them onboarded, I can get more work done, but not enough. So do I need 3 people to get that work done, or 4? You know, hovering over the histogram will tell you what your constraint was and how many people you would have to add. It gives you now the what if. I hired these people, how can I get that work done? Are you tracking actual time yet? This is an important area to see if your projects are getting done well. It helps you learn from past projects. Shown here in our list is some of the factors that go into time monitoring, which is I've planned to work a certain number of days up till the last booking date. I've worked more on this project, giving me a deviation to my plan. And if I want to go into the details of that, remember, a few things can be shown here. I can look at actual time worked. I can compare actuals to the plan. I can see who has logged the time as a project manager. I can also enter time if given the security to do that. And um, um, this gives you a way to not only monitor while the projects are active, but at the end of the project, see how much time is different and then ask the question, what did I not know during planning? All right. Um, in the project details, we can also um, get into financials. And for those that haven't started the financial planning yet, it's usually important to see as project dates are shuffling, when do you plan to spend money or when would you achieve the value of getting that revenue? We can give you a deep dive of the planned financials, which includes the trackers, managing to a project budget, or within Portfolio Designer, managing to a portfolio budget, which I'll show you here. So as you're moving um, amounts, it's not just capacity you're looking at. Do you have the money in that quarter to also spend? Give us a call if you'd like a deep dive on the financials. All right, we were talking about actual time tracking, and the the purpose here is to have team members provide a sense of where they spent their week and be able to give resource managers and project managers, as well as you, portfolio coordinators, the ability to see where are we not seeing people spending their time correct. I'm going to go into my schedule. This is for team members. So you can provide security directly to team members and give them access to only what you want them to see, perhaps the schedule, maybe the roadmap. I'm going to go in as Henry Wang here. So right now I'm Henry, the project manager. And what I see below is my schedule. What projects are coming up for me? I can see this by month, by week, quarter, or year. And how much time did someone plan for me? Why is this important? It provides a sense that team member knows their work that's in front of them and can help the resource manager see if there's a problem with getting that work done within this plan. That's one. The second goal here is to always see the priority sequence of the work so they're working in the right priority. If I have barriers on my number one project, I should be asking for help. Our time tracking is a simple feature that can be turned on. And what it provides you is the ability to indicate I've worked the plan and I'm going to automatically say whatever that 32 hours is, I'm just going to spread it over the week. If I didn't get a chance to work exactly that way, I can indicate that here and say I've worked less. So the project manager doesn't have to enter this time, nor do you have to import this through another means, but a team member can start entering this directly. And no matter how many projects they are on, you will see it here in the list. So if I scroll forward to when I'm supposed to start new reporting engine, I would be able to get both projects to report time on. As a portfolio coordinator, it's important to know how to get the data out of the system. While we've given you a lot of different ways to see it within the system and manipulate it within the system, reporting is very flexible within Meisterplan. One, you can um, put in Power BI reports here. If you had those and just link directly to those reports. If you are interested in Power BI reports, we have many free templates and we have some getting started quick start kits for portfolio planning as well as capacity planning. So give us a call there. But you can get a lot out of our integrated reports. Typical heat maps, for example, allows you to see by person, by role, what is over allocated. This is the same information resource managers would get in Team Planner, but this is a really great way to see what warning signs there are there for portfolio coordinators. Other reports that are important is more financial related reports. Perhaps I'm tracking our capitalized requirements and you would like to see what the forecast of the spend for that capitalized requirements month to month, quarter to quarter. We can drill down in various ways. The other one could be being able to see um, the net present value, and are we getting project values by business goal done. So it gives you a different lens here on the total cost for projects, the benefits you've managed in the financial section, and the net present value for these projects at hand. And you could drill down to see the differences here. So this is a good way for financial related or capacity related reports to help you see the data in a quick fashion. I'd like to summarize a few other areas before we end this webinar. We've talked about the prioritization and it's so critical to the portfolio planning process. The ability to just say no is hard. It's hard for leadership. And we would encourage you to use the score feature we have, which is a weighted project score. And what it provides you is a way to just guide a conversation, even if you don't auto rank projects by score. We have a template to get you started. Give your customer success manager a call to get this free of charge and or a deep dive on the features that you can do within the priority scoring. There are other ways we can help you improve your outcomes. We have a time estimating workshop. Again, it's so important to get better at portfolio planning at the high level. This is not the detailed work breakdown structure and task planning. We can help provide with our framework estimating time with more accuracy. We also have essentials starter reports, 3 reports for the price of 1. Give us a call if there's interest in Power BI reports to help you with your outcome and see these things easier for all your user groups. We also can work on best practices for time tracking and what to look at during the retrospective. Give us a call to deep dive those work tools and how to connect if that seems right for you, or consider the timing. On our webpage, we have virtual networks that you can show your interest in, and every year we are looking to start up a new virtual network. This year, we're looking to start agile planning as a virtual network. And then lastly, our new deep dive session is all about dashboards and how do you measure success. We have the top 3 steps that you go to make the most powerful dashboard. So I'd encourage you, as you're looking at your 2025 goals and what you were hoping to improve this year, give us a call and we might be able to help you even more than we do today. Thank you.